Hello everybody!
Hello!
How's everybody today? I'm here with Jerry. We are starting today a bit different. Especially since... wait, I forgot. Totally forgot. Wrong camera. Oh, where is it? Where is the bloody thing?
I can see you.
Yes, you can see me, but I wanted to have some other camera rolling. Was it this one? Yes. Because reasons. So
reason chocolate chew.
Not really. As some of you know, my friendly local game store is closing shop this week. So Saturday is the last day of operations, and I was there today for the last time. And I bought myself some small goodies.
Ooh.
A box, a little pot of paint.
Is it brain matter beige?
No, I was thinking about brain matter beige, but I got mummy robes.
Oh man, I mean, if Hazy Boy was about, he'd tell you brain matter beige is the king of paints.
I was thinking of him.
He uses it on fucking everything.
I was thinking of him because of it. And the other small little bit I got myself.
Is it the bunker? Did you get the bunker? You've brought up the obscure belts, by the way. You're going to have to pick your camera back up.
I know, because it won't fit under the camera.
Oh, you got the bunker.
I got the bunker.
It's a bunker.
I get the bunker. And yeah.
At half price.
At half price.
Fuck, it's practically acceptable at half price.
I also got this one.
What's that one?
It's the one of the official Legion battle mats.
Is it the desert one that has the walker footprints on it?
Yes, and this is one with the terrain, so I've got both.
Ah.
Also,
sweet.
Half price.
Sweet like candy.
So basically, I've got those three things for the same price I would before have to pay just for the bunker.
For the bunker. Yeah. Have you opened the bunker yet?
Only gotten out the shrink wrap. Shall we take a peek into it?
I am curious, having unboxed the Downed ATST and seen how warped the base was. I'm curious as to whether or not the bunker has survived contact with the enemy.
Let's get some light on here. Ta-da!
Ah, Jesus!
That's a massive piece of plastic.
That's the back wall.
I would say there is not much warping to be told. This is a massive piece of terrain.
Set it down and just put a finger opposite the coordinates and do that and see if we hear it talking. Because I'm by nature a curious person. I am quite curious.
This is very much flat. It's a little bit flex on this side here, but it's 0.5 millimeter maximum. Let's see. Oh. The roof comes in 2 parts.
Oh, that's good.
For some reason unknown. That's weird. How is it supposed to go on? I don't know. Help! Some insides and more details. Hello, Amanda. Oh, it's a nice piece of kit, but
that's nice.
Retail price
worth €50.
Retail price is a bit hefty.
I know what the retail price is. That's what I'm saying. Well worth half of it.
I know too. That's why I've kept myself from buying it. This is, and especially those battle mats. I don't know why, but they get shipped extra from the US, and that's why they're so expensive.
Because we looked at this for a while. At one stage, Warren was trying to do battle mats, and then looked at the shipping, and the weight isn't the main thing. If we got them in and then folded them up and put them in a box, they would ship like a normal thing because they're less than 2.5 kilos. But because people don't want creases in them and they have to be shipped in a long roll, it like quadruples the price and has to be couriered. It's just fucking madness.
Yeah, it's especially frustrating when you look at the store on Fantasy Flight's page and you see those are sold for, I think, $40.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's outrageous because they just go, you know what we'll do? We'll not convert dollars to euro. We'll just charge the equivalent price. So go $40 becomes €40, regardless of exchange rate.
Every other piece they sell, it is that with the Legion, just not for the bloody battle mats. And Collins, yes, I did shell out more than I usually do because my FLGS is closing shop, so I had to grab him.
And go around, chuck a firebomb in through the window after they go. Just to remember them by.
Maybe. And I'm not participating in the Conquest small build league. The box has gone.
Oh.
I'm not saying it has been sold. It's gone somewhere.
It's just gone. It's one of those things.
It's especially the fun thing was last time I was there. He said, not everything that's still on shelves will get the 50% off treatment. Some things will simply be a private takeout from the shop and go to the personal collection. So basically all that was left from Battletech and Flames of War vanished.
Well, why run a game store if you can't do that?
Exactly.
You know,
so this
can't occasionally just cream a little off the top, skim it off the sides as well.
And knowing the retail price difference to his buying price, I think some things I wouldn't have sold for 50% off either.
I mean, a lot of it he wouldn't have been. He'd barely be covering the costs at 50% off.
Yeah, that's history now. I think he will be happier for it when the stress is over and we can finally get a game of Battletech or Legion in again.
Excellent.
Oh, one word of warning for anybody out there toying with the idea of getting themselves the Snotling Blood Bowl team. Prepare yourselves. The pump wagon is a nightmare to assemble.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to see GW are keeping up their piss poor assembling.
It's a lovely model once everything sticks to everything.
That's the word, though. It's once. Because I know, having assembled 2 of the Abominations for the Skaven, and they were one of the first 3D printed monsters they've released. And you were looking at pieces and you're going, does it sit like this? And you're going, there's a big fucking gap. And like after about 5 or 6 attempts, then you just go chink, and it would like blend perfectly. But it was working out exactly how they thought it was going to go together first.
The Snotlings, on the other hand, those are 2-part also. Mainly head and an arm and the rest of the torso. Those go together rather easily and nicely and look beautiful. But those are 2 pieces for 1 miniature. This here is 3 miniatures consisting of 2 pieces and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, roughly about 25 pieces.
I'd like to point out, 25 pieces. I've kept the Skaven Abomination assembly instructions. I built both of the fuckers, but I'm not getting rid of this because this is too retarded for me ever to get rid of. Because if anybody goes, GW make great models that go together so well, I just have to go, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, slap them with it.
There's go together well, and then there's, if you're not on the fucking scale somewhere, if you're not putting together math problems in the snow with your fucking big toe in the middle of December in the street, if you're not full beautiful minding it, then that is not a fucking easy build by any stretch of the imagination.
No, and the worst part on the pump wagon is those parts don't really slot into anything. Though most times you just have to keep them together by hand or some other things. It's I'm just
trying to put as much together as you can, and then just spray polystyrene cement over it from a spritzer from a mile away. Just let it fucking soak in.
When I was finished with the first one, I actually thought getting the second one and just using a hammer or something.
Oh yeah, scale models can have even more parts, but a scale model with a fully working engine and detailed interior is a million miles away from a plastic piece of gaming shit. You can't. And and you can't compare the two because you pay more for a GW kit that has less detail than you do for a scale model tank with
Also,
a fully detailed interior.
Also,
No.
on the most scale models, placing parts makes sense, and usually the model
because they're
maker
based
go
on
out of
real
their way to
things.
make the models that way that this part fit and stay in place for somehow. This, I have the feeling GW didn't even give a rat's ass.
What they do is they get it built in caddy type thing, and then you just cut chunks out because it's all 3D. So that they go, okay, we'll huddle out the interior, we'll cut this bit, we'll cut that bit, and then they'll sit on the sprue like this, and that can be produced. And whether it's intuitive or not to build it is, they don't give a shit.
They build a master model, throw it in the air, and then they go Fruit Ninja on it, and then the parts are getting picked on the sprue somewhere. So let me just say, GW.
Hey, fuck you.
Fuck you. Good old Foamy.
Foamy, lovely Foamy. So, this is the first half hour. We already ranted away.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry
again,
for
I tell you,
for going off the tangents again. So we have one
we missed
late
one last
entry
week because I forgot to put it on the list. It had been on the list when I was making the list out of shit that I thought people should look at, and then I forgot to cut and paste it in. So this is obscure battles. Now, obscure battles is interesting for two reasons. One, not all the battles on it are obscure if you are in Europe. So, for example, you will see Stamford Bridge and Cressy there. I imagine a lot of these obscure battles are obscure because they're not American War of Independence or American Civil War, because they don't give a shit. However, what I will say is this is a fucking gift for anybody getting into historics, and specifically trying to do a detailed historical game. They're all laid out the same way, so I will let Tim pick any he wants.
Well,
pick a battle, any battle, it matters not.
Then we shall... Where was it? I just saw one.
Was it Isanduana? Because it's at the very bottom.
Was something I could pronounce. Let's go to Leuten.
Okay. So
1757.
7 Years' War.
Prussian under Frederick II. 13,125 guns. That's a force.
Yes, it is. You will get links. It tells you the main, in a Wikipedia style way, it tells you the belligerents and what they had. It then goes on to tell you when they know what the weather
First
conditions
night,
were like.
sunrise, sunset. What the fuck?
Yep. It also has the location, which means you can hit that button and Google Maps will take you to that location on the Earth now. In some cases, that won't be very helpful because, things like Waterloo, they bulldozed hills and stuff after Waterloo to make monuments, so the topography has changed, but you get an idea of the environment. Whether or not that's any use is another matter. You then get the reason he's included it as an obscure battle, and then all the maps, all the detail. This is a shocking amount of detail if you want to do a historical refight. It goes into so much detail. You can start scrolling down and you won't be finished by the time I'm finished talking to him.
I'm seeing the scroll bar. I'm a bit scared.
Yeah. No, don't be scared. So, I mean, you get the full thing, you get the basics, you get the background. It goes into why this fight's taking place, what's happening, the lead up to it. There's many maps of the area and of deployment that he can find. Towards the end, you'll actually get a full order of battle for both sides, if it exists. You'll also get his own opinion on things. So he may pull orders of battle from several different places, or details about the fight. He might go, in this book it describes the fight as lasting 6 hours from sunset, but in this battle it says it was only 4 hours and they hit with a hailstorm at midday, which means they don't all the fucking detail is there if you want to get into historic games, if you want to play a specific game.
Is the author of this block somehow related to Uriska Ninja?
He's not. I think he's ex-military as well, although that's not his day job. He was, I think, naval intelligence at one stage. So he may have done some stuff on military warfare and war games for them. But this is just a stunner.
So for the people at home wondering where I am, I'm literally just finished the first quarter of this article.
Yeah.
This is going on for some time.
And they're all like this. Now, he started this blog about 10 years ago-ish, not quite, and did an awful lot very quickly. And then since then, he's slowed down. So you're lucky if you get 1 or 2 a year now. But with what's in there, there's some stonkers. There's some really, really good ones
The
in there.
sheer amount of research you have to do to gather all this information is astounding. And anybody who's watching, try pronouncing any of those.
Anybody who's going, why such and such obscure, blah, blah, blah. Every battle starts with a prologue, why he's chose that and why he considers it obscure. Now, it may be that everybody's heard of Pickett's Charge, but what they've heard is what they've seen in They Died With Their Boots On, or fucking Coward John Wayne film or something, and it's a load of balls. Whereas the actual military strategy and battle behind that part is totally different than what's been portrayed in media. So the obscurity isn't always down to you've never heard of this battle, because about over a third I've heard of on that list. Others, I don't care about the actual warfare or the campaigns, so I would never have heard about them anyway, and some others just completely passed me by. So yeah, you will have heard of some, but he's chosen them for a reason, and he explains the reason behind them. And then this is the order of battle at the end, so you can see there. I don't know who you're currently in, because I'm not.
I'm just
Oh,
past.
you're at the Bavarians, so now you're into Frederick's army, and you can see things like, I mean, there's an Irishman there. There's O'Donnell. But yeah, the Prussians, the strength, the number of guns, the companies, how they're subdivided. If you're looking to do these,
Okay, this is weird now. There's literally a company called like my hometown.
yeah, and
So the possibility of them actually being from the duchy here is not zero.
yeah, well, I imagine so. So yeah, it's a very niche resource. You're not going to be able to go to here and go, I fancy doing the Napoleonics on the peninsula. This will not tell you about every single battle, but it gives you a really good insight into battles in general. It gives you incredible insight into very specific.
And he gives you the source of his information,
gives you all the
with all the book references. This is a
that
potential
is the
rabbit
key.
hole you never return
Yeah.
from.
So if, for example, you are interested in Napoleonic warfare and you find a battle on Napoleonic warfare, you can then look at his references and then just start pulling out the ones that you think may be important to you or of interest to you. Like I say, it is specifically for the historics, but you're unlikely to find better breakdown of a battle as a free resource anywhere on the internet. And if somebody has one, link it, because I would like to see it. And I'm not saying yours isn't as good as mine. I would just say this is fucking phenomenal. And if somebody else has got a similar blog out there that I'm unaware of, I would really like to see it, because this is just superb.
Yeah, this is some extreme shit, as the young ones say.
Yes, it is.
Where I think
It's totes me balls. Like,
and
kids
going
say,
back to his
probably.
main blog, the time frame is a large one. It's from 334 BCE to 1898. So this is 2,200 years closely. That's a range.
yeah. I mean, there's only, 14, 16 battles in there, but each one is as detailed as you would ever want. You know, you're unlikely to go, I know about that battle, and click on it and then go, oh, he's missed that, or he hasn't seen such and such in there. So
it's really nice. So
the link.
Before we get started on the project from our revered audience, there's one small indie we like to show off. That is doing terrain. TH Miniatures from Canada, I think.
He's from France land, but he fled to Canada land under cover of darkness a few years ago.
So beware of shipping prices.
Beware of shipping prices, but at the same time, whenever you look at the cost, half it. Yeah, roughly half it, from Canadian dollars to euros, is more or less half. So you look at something to go, $96 for this collection. Oh my God, that's so expensive. Then you go, oh, hang on a minute, that's actually only €45 or 45 sterling. So
this makes it all more reasonable. When I looked at it a couple of minutes ago, I was a bit, those do look nice, but
they do look nice.
They look a bit pricey.
They are pricey. And then you actually do head up xe.com and see the conversion, and all of a sudden it's a whole other kettle of fish.
I like the details on some of these pieces that are a bit comic-y, not so much high fantasy realistic, but I actually like to see these as a difference in terrain, because we have seen so many high elf towers in the last years. I think personally
it's terrible. They're all terrible bastards, those high elves. I will say Terry used to paint for Rackham, and that very angular spiral.
Look who has joined the chat. Hello,
trying to
Lina.
ignore her in case she wants her shields, because she's not fucking getting them.
The shieldless shield maiden has arrived.
those you're not getting any of them. I've done 12. You only need 6. You're not having any. So let's just chuck them back in there. Anyway, but yeah, that very angular spiral pattern was just a design he used to paint when he painted the Rackham Studio miniatures. It was something that he would paint on axes and stuff. It's clearly a design he enjoys.
It's a recognizable design.
Yeah.
Which never hurts when you're selling product, that people can recognize them. Very
true. He does a few different sets. So there's the jungle, the volcanic, and the runes are 3 core sets of terrain. Then there's also Ragnarok, which is subdivided, and each one is very confrontation based. And if you look at the website, nearly all of them are displayed with Rackham confrontation miniatures on them. So you've got Not the Wolfen, lots of stone teeth and things to the mother god and that sort of thing.
Those do look nice.
They are. And then the Scorpion are for the alchemists of Durs, called the Scorpions, who again have this unusual, not quite a spiral, but they've got this little sort of hooky pattern worked in there.
The mechanical doors look a bit cyberpunky.
They are a weird faction in confrontation. They had a spin-off game called Hybrid, and Nemesis was the supplement for it, which was essentially a dungeon crawler. And the idea was that Scorpions, who started in the desert, they're alchemical bioengineers, and they would set up labyrinths, alchemy labs under cities and in the middle of fuck nowhere, and grow their vat drones and stuff. So you got
sounds a bit like some Cthulhu mythos.
Yeah, oh yeah. I can't understand why I like them. Who knows? But they do these things, and they are resin. So this is
something to throw your opponent at the head.
It's resin, but it's not resin that you're going to easily chip or break, because it's big chunky pieces. They don't really go in for brittle little pieces of kit. It's very big. It's very easy to paint. I have saying to Tim earlier, I've got about half of the stuff he does already. And as far as the rune stuff goes, that Ragnarok set matches the runes thematic at the top. If you go into runes rather than jungle first, go back up.
I'm going.
So yeah, so if you look at that, this doesn't have the spirally look that the other set does, but it has a similar base style to it. So the archways, the walls, the pillars all look the same, but without the extra level of detail, so you can mix and match. That, which I have here, is beautiful because this little top piece, which you can set on to make your ruined tower, you can lift that, just that top piece off, and you have a pit with stakes in it where you throw whatever terrible bastards are in there. And that's a one-piece cast. Even the stakes are cast in there. You don't have to glue anything. You literally got this. The only detail or cleanup I did was there's no detail on the edge. So at the top of the stone steps, I carved in some grooves to represent the brickwork so that you could see it when you walked up the steps. But otherwise, his work is beautiful. It's very, I'm not going to say simple. It's very easy to build, to put together, and it has plenty of detail on it. He's a terrific fella. Unfortunately, he, like everybody else, got fucked over by those tubes in France who were trying to resurrect Confrontation, and all they did was steal everybody's money, because one of the stretch goals was actually for Terry to do terrain for them, so they started showing off the terrain he was doing, which I think is where the Ragnarok range kicked off from, because he started doing that and then they fucked off and nobody's getting anything from them anymore.
The Kickstarter went a bit sideways, if I remember correctly.
Oh, it's delightful. Every now and again I look at it. French courts have told people that Sandator fucked them, and they've got until the end of September to register if they backed any of Sandator's things, to be registered as a liquidator, in case you might get some money back. You're not getting any money back in returns, but
a portion maybe.
Yeah, well, be lucky. You might get a penny on the euro or whatever it happens to be, a penny on the pound. I'm going to go out and live and say people aren't getting anything off them. But that aside, if you're into Frostgrave Ghost Archipelago, you can get their jungle runes. If you're into some sort of abyssal, volcanic-y dwarf / demon army, that lava set is great. That's what I got mine for.
Well, I would say if there's nothing that's like a pillar or something, these lava sets would also look great on some mats with lava themes. And then use on any system like 40k or Legion.
I have a lava mat that I use for Kings of War with this train, but then the train itself is also, you've got things like some of the fortifications from the standard fortification and rune set is there, but lavarized, as if somebody has exploded the ground beneath it and it's just starting to swamp the walls and the fences. So some of it I've based up as if it's just the regular sort of brown grassy base that I would normally do on my scenery, and then it's just been fucked by magic, because why not?
Magic is the worst, as we know.
Magic is the worst.
Well, this really looks the part, and I think this should be a great resource for anybody playing fantasy in any scale or theming.
It's very good for, Frostgrave and that sort of thing as well. It's ideal for it. So Frostgrave, Rangers of Shadow Deep.
Large ice wall, snow fortified wall. If something screams Frostgrave, I think these are.
It really does, yeah.
And I like that he's selling painting tutorials for his things.
If you buy some of the bigger sets, you get the painting tutorial PDFs built in as to how he painted them. If you backed some of the Kickstarters, you got the painting tutorials. If you didn't do either of those things, if you're just picking them up, then you can just buy the PDF, how he painted them. And, he was a studio painter for a major miniature manufacturer. He kind of knows how to paint. So, and it's very easily done. Well done, him. You know, he doesn't spend a lot of time going, here's how you do your 15-stage blend in oils. It's, you know, you do this, this, and this, slap it on, throw a dry brush, job's good.
Yeah. So then we will start with the actual main attractions of the show. And first one of the day is a Scorpion.
Scorpionox.
Scorpitron by Manda.
There's a very specific reason I chose this.
I was about to ask because the project itself is a bit short, and I was wondering if you simply put it on the list because of Banana Man 4 scale or because you have something in mind.
I have something in mind. Several weeks ago / a month ago, whenever it first popped up, I think it was. There's a few times Manda's throwing things out there, and they've popped up in the project thread. I've looked at them, and it looks nice, and then nothing else happens. So I'm throwing this one out there for Manda to paint it. I want to see it painted. I've looked past this for weeks now, and I'm not looking past it anymore, type of thing. So this one appeared, and it was like, right, well, this is fresh, this is new, this isn't going to get buried in the back end of Beyond. Strike while iron's hot. Get in now.
We won't have her hide that again. And to make sure that something is happening, I'm going to follow that project. Also, what I was thinking,
Banana Man for scale is good.
I know that the model isn't made for 40k, but I think with some small additions, that thing would look awesome in any Necron army.
It's weird you say Necron. Chaos used to have a brass Scorpion in 40k.
Yeah, you're right.
So, yeah.
But I
was thinking Chaos, but yeah.
Chaos.
Regardless.
Why not both?
Or if you're aware of Dr. Doom's brass Scorpion, or no, sorry, Dr. Death's brass Scorpion of Death.
Also,
which
I think
very handy for getting things down off shelves in shops.
I think with the recent releases that GW has done for the Adeptus Mechanicus, those would fit to just fling a upper torso somewhere and make it a centaur, scorpion, skitari. You're good to go.
It's all true. Weirdly, Dark Eldar did have a floating Scorpion at one stage, but then they decided that they weren't going to do that anymore and changed the complete look of it.
Do you remember the big arch that is made for the Necrons?
Yes.
This last. And do you remember the painter from GW who was forced to close his YouTube channel? The name escapes me. Mark Latham? Maybe?
Oh, well, I know Mark, but I didn't realise that GW made him close his painting channel.
Yeah, he was rather successful, and for some reason they came to an agreement that he has to discontinue his YouTube channel. Never mind. He has assembled one of these barges from the Necrons, and every time he's posting a picture, he's cussing and swearing and doing vows never to do any of those again. So I imagine, coming back to our little snottling pump wagon, those don't seem to go along nicely.
Amazing.
If their own staff is cursing at the build quality, then there's something to be said.
Yeah, I was going to say, is he still working for GW?
He is.
Because GW used to have, even for shop staff, GW had a very comprehensive employment contract, up to including anything you think of game wise while you work for GW, whether we publish it or not, is ours, and we can have it off you. And if we discover that it needs more work to make it ready for manufacture or publishing, then you'll have to do that as well. They were tight as a gnat's chuff as far as once you're in there, nothing you do is yours. Nothing you think of is yours. Keep your mouth
nobody's
shut.
getting out alive.
Yeah. I thought that said prostitutes for healing purposes there, Steve.
Oh.
Yeah, because we often talked about, because we used to, myself and a couple of friends who work for GW used to write games all the time, like Vietnam game and 54 mil and stuff, all sorts of weird shit. And it's like, if we ever are going to do anything with this, we'll just publish it under mate's girlfriend's name, because none of us could do it under our names, because GW fucking have it in an instant.
Well, on this happy note, let's go on to the next project.
Yeah, that was just a little quick one to kick us off.
Panzer Kaputt, brushing along on his Gangs of Rome. We had seen his project sometime before, and
I think he did, Steve, yeah.
I think he's done some more, some terrain.
He has been working on a bath.
A MDF kit.
Yeah, another Sarissa precision type thing. Pardon me. As you can see there, it looks quite nice in its wooden form. Apparently,
And it's big.
Apparently, the Romans didn't just. It's not. What was it? It's not 2 feet. It's like 19 inches or something like that. Pete. My room does look like that. It's all bare MDF. Or do you mean assembled and painted? Oh, 14 inches. There you go. So 14. It's a chunky fucking thing to stick in the middle of the board. You know, you can.
You don't need a board. You just use the.
It's viable.
We have a quick skirmish in the bath. You what?
Always into the bath. Tepidarium, Caldarium, something other, and then all out the vomitorium. It's not about being sick. It's just about leaving. This way to the egress. But yeah, it's quite nice, detailed. I say detailed. It's a nice step-by-step of how he's gone about doing his bath from masking off to finished. There's a little flyby YouTube type video, so you can follow along at home. I was looking at this the other day because I had to go back through a book on the Dacian War that has quite a nice artist rendition of the hills of Rome in red and white style, which they wouldn't have been because the Romans were a bit mental when it came to colour.
A bit.
A bit, yeah. They like colour. You can pretty much go colour-tastic. There's Hazy Boy. Oh, Hazy Boy. Pun Dancer had the opportunity to buy Brain Matter Beige and he didn't. It's alright, she missed that earlier, man.
I still have 4 days left. I could go. I know he has it. Still.
You should. You should. But it just shows you what you can do with a couple of sprays, masking tape, and a few afternoons. Because it didn't take him long to get that very attractive look. Now, what we haven't seen here are post updates. So this is the basic layout. I've seen Pete posting pictures of his tiled floors.
I think...
Which we haven't got in there yet, so I'm imagining we're going to get a work in progress part 3 with the tiling.
I think he's a bit on the fence with the project system.
Hey, you know, he's not on the fence. He tries the project system and then it craps out and dumps all of his hard work on the floor and he goes, I'm not fucking doing that again. Like the rest of us. We've all been there.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Can't blame him.
What was I looking at the other day?
Lurky boys.
Specific place in Turkey that's full of fucking Roman mosaics that I was literally looking at yesterday.
Wasn't there some historical dig last year where they found some very brand spanking new looking ones?
Zugma, that's it. Yeah, but they're all in and around this area. There's the town of Gaziantep in Turkey. It's the biggest mosaic museum in the world, containing 1,700 square meters of mosaics. But they just keep finding more and more, and they've got there are mosaics in situ that either the sea level has risen or earth level has collapsed, so they're like 2 meters underwater now, and you can just see every time the waves come in, just these beautiful Roman mosaics under the waves. But anybody who's interested in adding mosaics to their bases for Gangs of Rome, have a look for Zugma Mosaics or Zugma Mosaic Museum. And there is just fucking stunners there. And just go in, cut and paste them, print them out. You can do that wavy wepley shit if you can use Photoshop or Photopea, and then just cover it in a layer of PDA, and that will give you the bottom of your bath with like refractive light and stuff. It'd be good. So do that. You can do that, Pete.
This is Jerry doing hobby by proxy, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a nice project. We are keeping an eye on it. Next one is going to be a bit weird by the looks of it. Oldenheim, Old Hammer meets Mordheim. Can you mash it up a bit more, please?
Well, everybody knows how good Piers is at painting the tiny fighting men in 20mm historically accurate as fuck. So I decided to pick on his Old Hammer.
Holy fuck.
Because, you know, we like Old Hammer. It reminds us of a happier time when GW didn't go around and beat people with sticks.
That dwarf has nipple armor.
That's nipple armor, you're correct.
Nipple armor.
It's very annoying. He has Doomlord Kazakh. I don't. They would often use the same body and do like variations on head and weapons and stuff, and I have a different one with like droopy horns. But he actually has Doomlord himself, which is very, you know. I'm not bitter or anything, but he is in Kildare and his house may get fucking looted.
You mean this little fellow here?
Kazakh Doomlord, that's the one. Now, if you replace the axe with a mace and then give him droopy horns, like Ludo from Labyrinth, I've got that version.
Oh, look at those.
Oh, good. Oh, good. It's just really nice to see taking all miniatures and paint them out. It's the same as Ninja Bread. So Kuris does the same thing. They grab these models from the 80s and 90s and paint them up, and they just look fantastic. You look at them and go, and the details there. It's not that modern miniatures have got a fuckload more detail. In some respects, I think these are less busy than new stuff. GW seem to have equated good design with busyness. If there's a flat piece on the model, it's not good design. Let's cram as much stuff on it as we can. Flat piece, put 5 skulls on it with babies. And it's nice to be able to go back and look at them when they went, let's have a cloak, and it'll just be a cloak. It won't be a cloak with 50 skulls on it. Hashtag skull taker, I'm looking at you. Or armour that, you know, yes, it's a Chaos Dwarf, but they don't need to have some sort of massive helmet twice the size of their body. The only reason Chaos Dwarves were still dwarves was they were stunted under the weight of those fucking hats.
I think I need a new pair of pants after this. I think the why most of these old school sculpts are so lovely when they're painted is because they are a bit more realistic in a sense, because a medieval archer, for example, like this one, he wouldn't have 1,000 ornaments and thingamajigs on his stuff. He would literally have his clothes, some pockets, his arrow and quivers, and that's it. You don't need more when you're going into battle.
Yeah, I think it was a nice level at that stage where they fantasied up history, essentially. They went, this is what we have. Here's somebody in full plate in a Sally helm. Now let's make him a bit fantasy, so we'll make it a little bit over the top and give him a fucking moon on his hat, or that coffin lid style shield, or whatever it happens to be. I've got that. That's a conversion, because that head shouldn't be on that guy with the guy holding the head that you're hovering over right now. He doesn't have that face, I'm pretty sure. That should be a skeleton. Anyway, I digress. You're distracting me again. Why
yes, I am.
But yeah,
because that way we get the most interesting stories from far beyond the times most of our audience is remembering.
That could be true.
Oh, just look at those. Those are totally insane and unusual sculpts, but that makes them lovely. Because those were still individual miniatures and not faceless army hordes.
Yeah. I'll throw this one in. This isn't part of what we're looking at, but I'll chuck this in here. Gentleman Matt Gee Some of his stuff is new, but he also has got old school stuff in his Instagrammage, and it's really interesting looking through it, going, had that, still have him. I wish I knew where that one was. And just going through and going, oh, they just look great. Stuff, painted to the same standard. So you might see like a Kings of War fucking Reaper beside a old hammer goblin beside a brand new ogre from some company, and all of them look fucking amazing. Purity seals were rare. It's like those fucking metal studs that people have in their head, each one for 100 years service. And now every cunt marine has 15 of them fucking stapled in there. And apparently they don't stand for 100 years service anymore. They stand for something. They've retconned the shit out of that as well.
Oh, yes.
But yeah, so Matt's a stunning painter. And scroll down, there's one of the dwarf characters from the what was it called?
The lady one with the...
Yeah, but it was the Bugman campaign pack. It's too far away for me to reach, so I'm not going to. But yeah, just seeing that painted, that's painted better than the version of her in the campaign pack. But if you scroll further down, he has Wizard with a chainsaw. He doesn't have Wizard with a machine gun, which is currently going for like 50 quid on Fleabay.
Oh, God.
So he's not getting mine either. Fucking.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, but just seeing that and seeing him painted by a skilled painter using today, not using enamels. A lot of the older models don't look as good because they weren't using acrylics; they were using enamels, and they suffered for it.
You know what name just popped in my head when I saw this miniature?
Was it Rincewind?
Rincewind, the wizard.
2 Z's, so you know he's a wizard. It says on his hat. So yeah, Mackie and Piers are, and Curis, Ninja Bread, they're cut from the same cloth. The Old Hammer community is thriving out there. It's one I don't pay much attention to because it requires me to be part of a community and I'm not sociable. But it's nice to occasionally dip in and see what people are doing with their lives and go, that's good. You may continue.
Yeah. Quickly, let's go and taunt someone.
Yes,
Earthworm
should we
Jim
taunt?
By Blinky465. Blinky, we told you next time you do a project, it has to move.
Or sound, or a combination of moving and sound. And that is the reason you will not be getting a golden button this week. Earthworm Jim.
Yeah,
he's really fine.
He really should have used the cow catapult opportunity. It was there.
Jim was just a lowly, dirt-eating worm when a super circle from the sky.
I think my Earthworm Jim copy is lost somewhere. Oh, damn it. I know I have it somewhere.
No, he has done quite nice work here, despite using
a 3D printer.
Yeah, a computer, which is, I think, still cheating.
Of course,
Let me
it's
just
cheating.
consult. Yeah, it's cheating. But despite cheating with the 3D printer, it's a really nice little diorama. He's based on some sort of computer game, which I was unaware that existed.
You really didn't know Earthworm Jim before?
Oh no, I knew Earthworm Jim from the cartoon. I didn't realise they'd made a computer game spin-off of it.
I think
Shouldn't
computer
surprise
game
me.
was prior to the cartoon.
Was it?
Yes. If I'm not mistaken, chat, may you correct me? I'm pretty sure the computer game was before the animation.
I went Spectrum, nothing at all World of Warcraft. Spectrum, Battlefield 1942, World of Warcraft. That is my computer gaming history.
Well, I will refrain from standing up because somewhere up there in my library there is a Earthworm Jim disc for, I think, PlayStation 1.
But I was aware of the cartoon.
Next to my Discworld PlayStation game.
Discworld PlayStation game.
Yeah, you actually play Rincewind in Ankh-Morpork and trying to solve the mystery of the dragon. And it's voiced by Tom Hanks. So Rincewind is Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is Rincewind. And the riddles are nearly impossible to solve if you don't know the book.
Okay.
You need to know the book, otherwise you're just no chance in hell that you can solve that. Even with knowing the book, I don't know what they were thinking when trying those riddles, but I got through the first quarter of the game, and then I totally relied on a cheating guide. Yes, this.
Apparently, the chat says it was Eric Idle, as in the Python voiced Rincewind.
I'm pretty sure it's. Oh no! Wait, I know where I was going wrong. I was playing the localized version, and it's the Tom Hanks German dubbing voice.
The guy who voices Tom
Yes,
Hanks in
that
German
could be
films.
very well. That's why. But he fits very much. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Totally could be. I would have to get it down if it.
You piqued me at Eric Idle, mind you. If Eric Idle voiced the thing, I'd be interested in that. Notice he also cheated with the background, which he appears to have laser cut out rather than using a knife.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just throwing it out there, kids.
Speaking of knives and clippers, I hope everybody in the studio is still alive and well after Warren and Justin running around with clippers doing things.
We think so. Who knows?
I mean, Warren wasn't in the weekend or the XLBS and has been silent since, so I'm a bit worried.
He wasn't in them because he was working, and by working I mean he needed to finish off that Hero Quest board for Friday, so it could be edited to go out on Monday. Did a Hero Quest board video go out today?
It did.
What day is today?
Tuesday?
Tuesday. All right, so well, fuck it. Yeah. Anyway, so Blinky has, he's cheated with computers and then hasn't even made it move or say things. If it plays the Earthworm Jim theme tune, I'll let him away with it, but he's still not getting a golden button for it.
Well, I think somebody said Blinky has enough golden buttons to make himself a coat.
That is true. That is very true.
So this is that and other things. Hello, Ben. Welcome to my den. Because
Glad somebody's paying attention. Oh, the unboxing won't be for some time, Steve.
Unboxings, you say?
Because we've unboxings scheduled up until the end of October.
Or
I think at the moment we might move things around because the Plastic Soldier ones and Frostgrave are new, whereas some of the other and the Dacians from Bitrix are relatively new, so we might move things around a bit, but I wouldn't imagine you'll see them in the next few weeks.
I'm pretty excited for October, whatever that will release.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ben, we were talking about October earlier, Ben, and I remembered that we're doing things for October. Did you remember we were doing things for October? Because I'd fucking forgotten, and now I'm going to have to send some messages tomorrow and see what the score is.
Also,
because it's been awfully quiet.
For all painting folk out there, in the month of October, the German podcast Magabotato is doing again their paintathon. So from the 1st of October to the 31st, there will be an amplitude of pictures flooding the net with the hashtag Malathon2020. And goal is to paint 24 miniatures or more. In the last years, it has been shown that there are some people who are painting machines and are doing numbers that put any automaton to shame. And then there are people like me who barely make the number. But it's simply a community event to get people together for painting.
We'll have to have a look at that.
Malathon 2020.
I'm toying with doing my orcs. Since I started doing my orc crossbows that I can use as skulks for Kings of War, I have orc Black Orc plastics from GW. I pre-ordered them when that set was first coming out, and they've never made it out of the box or off the sprues.
Well, I still have the Indomitus box sitting on the shelf looking down on me, literally, next to my R2 unit.
I think I pre-ordered those orcs about 9 years ago, if not longer. I'm not sure when the black... Actually, it must be much longer than that, because Age of Sigmar has been out for like 5 years now. And the Black Orcs were out long before that. Fuck knows how long they've been in that box. Just sitting there.
Long enough. Well, let's get on to shout somebody else.
Scorpion.
Greystock has done a Boba Fett for Legion.
He has. You know, maybe he'll get a golden button for this. I don't know.
Well, this is a rather old project, is it?
Hazy boy. Yeah, but I hadn't been paying attention to it.
Oh, so.
And you hadn't been paying attention to it, and I thought, this is a really nice thing. And also I know Hazy Boy and Greystoke are currently in a peg-off between the pair of them over who gets the next golden button. So it amuses me to torment them.
We will feature both and then give the golden button to someone else.
To someone else, yeah. Shh. Don't let them know my cunning plan.
I've got a cunning
I
plan,
think
my
you've got a month,
lord.
Doug. The idea is, you know, one a day for a month with weekends off, I think. Type of thing. But yeah, really nice Legion.
He's doing a nice clean paint job on the armor.
How very dare you.
But
yeah,
I think,
very nice paint job, but there's something missing, and let's see if you notice it.
I think he's on the wrong what the color of the backpack goes, but again, that's his thing, and he's missing the jump stand, if I'm correct.
Yeah, but you don't have to build it with the jump stand. It's optional extra. Same way you don't have to have the little flames coming out of the...
Flames, you say?
It's got the little flames out of the jetpack, which I think looks ridiculous because he never has flames in the film, but they have those little things.
Do they?
Yeah, I think so. I'd have to get up and check. Mine's up there. And again, I've not opened the box yet, but I will.
Since I moved all my things in those shiny cabinets, I can't just look at them up there, so, well...
But yeah, it's noticeably Boba Fett. It's a fairly decent paint job based on Boba and goes all the way through, including chipping and weathering and the like, which looks great. But where are the yellow stripes on the side of the helmet? They're not there. He's just painted it green. Fucking slacker. Just paint it green and walk off, not do any detailing. What a cat.
I think that may be a fault not of his own, because...
What do you mean? Who else is... He's the one painting it.
Yes, but I was researching the armor when this model came out very extensively, and there were quite some variants on this. So there wasn't one picture that gave any clue to how the actually color scheme was, especially the backpack. Mine looks totally different. But I took reference photos from the set.
Fucking stripes. He had stripes on the left side of the helmet. It should be yellow.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
Are the lines? Did you point that out to me, Hazy Boy? Excellent. You can tell him he's not going to get a golden button from that. He was going to get a golden button, and then we realised that he'd forgot to do the striping yellow lines on it. There, fucking look at it! Look, they're fitting so many of the bastards! There's one on the third row, facing us. They've even turned it side on so you can see the yellow stripes.
I'm seeing the stripes, but I'm really baffled because this one on the right has no stripes, and those are the ones you see when it's a complete costume. That's weird.
Slackers. Slackers.
Hold on. Hold your horses. I'm going to stand up. Don't scream, little children!
As long as you're wearing pants.
I do.
That's right then.
So, this is...
I would go next door to get my Star Wars books, but I can't be arsed.
This is the Star Wars Chronicles.
Okay.
this is my main reference. This thing is not small. I just need to check this. Let's see. Where would he be? I think Empire Strikes Back is a good place to start. This thing is amazing. Wait,
Well,
maybe I should...
There's a picture of him on Jabba's skiff shooting at Han, and the fucking yellow stripes are there, and that's a set photo.
I'm
Just saying.
taking you in. So these are
You
set
take
photos.
me in all you want. That's from
This
the fucking
book is
film.
literally nothing but set photos, so I'm...
Great, awesome, smashing. I'll wait. I have no problem
Here
with
it
you
is.
waiting.
No fucking lines wherever. And
I
this
don't
is,
care. I'm looking at the fucking picture from the film. You can't tell me George Lucas CGI'd those fucking things in.
no, he didn't, but also they reiterated the... and here we have versions. With and without those fucking...
Stripes are canon.
And with
I imagine the ones
cat
without-
ears.
I imagine the ones
You
with
see
cat
these?
ears and without stripes are
Cat
for,
ears.
like, the stuff now.
Oh god, this is terrible.
Stripes, no gold button, no stripes. These are the rules. I don't make the rules, I just ruthlessly enforce them.
This is the way.
Like an SS code.
Now, how to get that bloody thing back into its... Ah.
You're right, actually, his rocket pack should have been a sort of turquoise blue as well. It's definitely not putting the gold button off that one.
So, this thing cost me 200 euros back in the day. Because it's a limited edition.
That seems reasonable. Annoyingly, I bought the Jedi and the Sith codexes for a friend for 2 different birthdays. The Sith one came in a Sith holocron, and the Jedi one.
Oh
came
yeah,
in
I remember those.
Popped open. I never bought them for myself. Very annoyed by that. Very annoyed.
I can understand why.
Don't know what I was thinking of. On the plus side, he doesn't sleep particularly well with sleep apnea. So, I mean, I would just have to switch his machine off, and then when he's suffocating, just take the books back.
Maybe do a sleepover and then leave.
Yeah.
Leave early. Leave quickly.
Just wander off. But yeah, so there's a little blast in the past.
Next
Lovely Boba
up
Fett.
is...
Almost golden button worthy. Not quite.
But almost. So we have Saga by Duck. And we're back in current times.
Yes. Doug and/or the Thug discuss. Doug has been doing a Saga Irish Force based mostly on one box of Dark Age Irish from War Games Atlantic. However, he had picked up a few metals. This is Ulf, the Quarrelsome. I wouldn't say he's particularly quarrelsome, but he did make his brother's killer walk round and round a tree after having cut his belly open and tie his entrails to a branch. So essentially he made the guy disembowel himself. So a little bit quarrelsome, I will give you that. So that makes quite a nice warlord by virtue of a couple of plastic wolfhounds running alongside him and some really nice freehand on the shield. So that black, green and yellow that Doug's used as a sort of recurring colours throughout the various tartans and shield designs come back again.
That's a lot of dogs.
Do you like dogs?
And they seem to have had lunch recently.
He was a Viking Dutch who killed his brother. His brother was the High King of Ireland at the time. So they pursued the guy who done it. And then rather than kill him, they chucked branches at him. Essentially, they kept chucking branches until he was like covered, buried in branches and couldn't get away. Then went in and fucking dragged him back, disemboweled him and forced him to walk around the tree. It's good.
Just imagine what they are trying, what they are telling they would do to you to make you go around and disembowel yourself.
I don't think I really had much choice. I think anytime you stop, you got poked with the sword. But he has more or less rattled through a box set. Is this the 4 points that you can make from the box done then, Doug?
Tell us, Doug. Tell us.
He will. We're just going to wait for the delay of rocking through the internet time.
There's
Not
no...
finished it, sadly. Oh, well, you know.
Well, then why are you watching? Get on with it.
Get on with it. Get on with it.
This tattoo freehand is looking nicely.
He's done a lot of that.
Though the musical reference from the title I don't like. In case you caught that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's the way. I like it.
It's the next one coming up, I think, is one of my favourites. Is it the next one?
Oh. Do I really want to know?
Oh, no.
Will we all do a sing-along?
It'll be after Mr. Slinger there. You'll see him. Who could it possibly be? What's coming next?
Mary Levy Gary.
It's good luck for me. As I unboxed the Victrix Dacians the other day, I'm going, there's an awful lot of me on these sprues these days, whether it's fucking Wargames Atlantic's Dark Age Irish or Victrix Celts and Germans and Dacians. I keep looking down and seeing an awful lot of people who look hauntingly familiar.
Your right arm seems a bit off. A bit high. Have you dislocated your shoulder?
No, just listening it up before the battle. I haven't, you're right. It's Guinness. It pickles me. Guinness and whiskey. It's a smashing blouse. So I really wish I'd been just wearing a what do they call them, waistcoat if you're in the UK, or vest if you're in Europe.
I'm currently picturing Lena imagining you in those clothes in real life. Nothing to add here.
Well, I think you've said it more than enough there. I look great in the fucking waistcoat. They know I'll tell you. I'm me as balls. Yeah, so Doug trucking through there rightly, getting ready for Saga Age of Hannibal by painting Saga Dark Ages.
So the next battle report on Saga, Jerry will be wearing nothing but green pants and a vest.
And a vest. The way I go. But yeah, Doug, it's... I think this is one of about 17 projects that Doug's currently working on. Like Manda. Although he paints his stuff, Manda, he just doesn't start them. I should be careful, considering how many started and unfinished projects I've done.
Yeah, but yours aren't...
I should go in and start them.
Yours aren't
again.
Public usually, so there's no one
that
knowing.
Is very true. Very, very true.
That was the part that annoyed me the last 2 weekenders, when your projects were referenced and it led to a 4-4.
I didn't realise they were going to put them in there, to be brutally honest.
Well, the first week I could understand, but in the second week, Lloyd actually said, "Is it available now? Can people see it?"
And I think, in fact, if you go back and rewatch that, I say something non-committal like, "I'll see." I might go ahead and do that. Can we make it public for people? Yeah, well, maybe. I'm very. It requires me to click on my little squirrely icon and then find my project and then edit my project and set it, and then update my. It's not a button.
You're risking to break the project system at that point.
That is true. I end up deleting the whole fucking project, and I wouldn't want that. So, but yeah.
Let's venture on.
Saga.
Say farewell to Saga and go back to Warhammer, Justice Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
Oh, a flying bedsheet.
Floaty things. It's a short little one.
How do we know it's GW? It's got skulls on its base.
It's because we know that, beneath the Earth's crust is a skull layer just before you hit the mantle and then the lava layer.
The Earth is basically one giant skull encrusted in smaller skulls. And that's why there's always gnashing of teeth to be heard. But
he's been doing some Fun Dead, putting the fun back into Fun Dead, and using, I think, technical paints and contrasts. Technicals and contrasts. So it's a very quick and easy paint scheme.
I like the paint scheme, and to be honest, these undead are models. One of the few models I really liked the moment GW put them out, because they're different.
They made sense.
They
a lot of times they add wisps of smoke and wispy cloaks like this on
and
things that aren't undead and don't make sense.
And GW has gone out of their way to make them really look like floating things.
Yeah.
That being said, I think some of those things will be brittle as fuck.
Oh yeah,
that comes with the design.
I would never buy them myself. I don't want to spend all my time gluing the fuckers back onto the base, but I can appreciate somebody else painting them and then having to deal with that. I mean, a few of them have relatively solid bases on them. Other ones you can flick and they go back and forward like a soccer ball. I
think if you look at these two dudes here, the chain is a rather stiff and a firm connection. I'd say it's not bad. So
I mean, these aren't too bad. The mounted versions and the heroes they've done tend to get more and more extreme to the point where you're just looking at it going, I'm not even sure I want to cut that off a sprue.
Yeah, that's the point when you are too scared to use snips on the sprue. There's something to be said about the modeling. This thing especially, this is one small point of contact on the base for all this on top.
You know, maybe it's a really resilient piece of plastic, much more resilient than regular plastic.
I'd be hard pressed to find some case that suits these without breaking it.
But if you look at that, the great wobbly one, as he calls it, that one that only has the one point of contact.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the painted version, ambiguous either of them or both. There's really nice work done on the metals. You've got two different types there. There's a copper with oxidization, and then the sort of more steel that has an oily rust feel to it.
Also, the keychain is really nicely done, with some wear and tear on the.
You know, that duster fella, he's not doing too badly at all.
But now imagine having this in your army case. You're going to some game or tournament and you pick it up and the thing is broken from the base. There's no way on fixing that without redoing the paint job.
It's best not to put it into an army case. Magnetize everything and then just have it on a tray.
Yeah, but this looks nice. Duster, seal of approval. Now do more.
Yes, I imagine there will be more coming. That's only his start. Now, it's taken him
3 months?
A Jerry length of time.
Oh no, those. He was quicker. don't over push it.
You know, he's getting there. So.
He's showing progress.
The old Skelly Bob models glued at the waist, they were great.
So next up, this one nearly broke my heart.
Yes.
42 and his crashed Star Destroyer.
You may remember this if you've been with us for a while. That we looked at this, 3 months ago. Holy shit. And it was all going swimmingly with all the fibre optic work, and then there was nothing. And then one of the other project logs 42 was working on, they went, I'm working on this because I've had an accident with the other one.
I dropped it.
No, dropped it, and all of the stuff on one side went kaplooey.
All his homemade greebly bits especially.
Yeah. But back, reassembled,
fixed.
Working again, fixed, and ploughing on towards an end. And I can't wait to see how that looks when it's finished, because, that is pure sex.
Yeah.
Right.
And as a happy coincidence, the painting doctor, Dr. Faust, is building a Imperial Star Destroyer with a lighting kit from Bandai himself. And he is swearing all the way because they literally took a large battery pack and just plunged it in the middle of the model, and you need to switch it on in order to get the lights work, so you have to open the model to turn it on, which is an
Ooh.
insanely stupid way of doing it.
That's a ridiculous way of doing it. Yeah, I think 42's on the much better way by just doing it all himself manually.
Yeah.
So well done them.
The only thing that the Bandai kit has going for it is there are parts of clear plastic where 42 is using his fiber optic cables, and they literally have larger pieces of clear plastic that have little windowed indents, and they snap from the inside into holes that are in the model kit already assembled, so you don't have to route as many cables. You literally have a diffuser light, and then you put some LED behind it. I'm not sure if it's going to look as good as 42's project, but it will do the job.
I know when 42 was starting to put the fiber optics in, he was getting a lot of bleed and had to go in and fix that so that they look like individuals. So having just transparent, I think
the Bandai kit has already
kit's
included some metal stickers to put inside.
To put on the inside to stop the light bleed.
Exactly.
Clever.
And those are a source of pain for the Doctor too, because
that's
they're
good.
really small fiddly bits.
Did you know that Dr. Faust's painting, not painting clinic per se, but the gentleman in question, do you know he has his own separate ASMR channel?
No.
He does. Anyway, I digress.
What does he do? Stroke Marv?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. It's nothing about gaming. But because I'm a big ASMR fan, I needed to sleep sometimes, and just YouTube was just cycling through them, and all of a sudden I'm going, I recognise that voice. Going, how unusual is that?
I don't think he has even told people on Patreon.
I don't think he would. There might be a bit of overlap, but not a huge amount, I imagine. Anyway.
Well, he's a nice chap, and he's living in a weird time zone.
Yeah, that is true.
Every time he starts streaming, that's basically the hour
That's
I get up to work. And then I get on his channel and say good morning, and say, good morning, you're weird. It's late in the afternoon. No, it's not.
I think he's West Coast, isn't he?
I couldn't tell you to save my life. I never got the hang of this East-West Coast thing. The US is too big for it.
East Coast are like 8 hours behind you, and then Central Time is 10 hours, and then West Coast is like 13 hours behind you.
It's a different planet for all I care.
More or less. But yeah, so 42. Great to see you back. Great to see the Star Destroyer back to where it had been.
Panzer Kaput is asking, what is SMR? It's ASMR. It's when people talk really slowly and
I don't always talk slowly.
No, but it's supposed to be relaxing. Imagine the soundtrack from Blade Runner on an endless loop.
It's autonomous sensory meridian response is what it stands for. It's when you get tingles when somebody talks.
So basically, if Jerry is saying Fugu.
I don't know why you're laughing now.
Well, because Fugu.
Fugu.
Because every time this pops up, we all get your Fugu. Nice voice. Oh, sound capturing is so much fun. Well, let's get on to the next one. Romano-British for Dux Britannium by Curious. Or is this Cure-Ass?
I think curious.
Maybe. We're curious.
Breastplate.
So
there hasn't been a massive amount since we threw him a golden button because we're so nice. But it was his first project, and he has been working away still diligently, still doing his damnedest to show people how to paint, and what you need to do to get a good tabletop standard up. Also, eyes.
Look, I was just about to say, look at that face. It has an expression. It's dull, and he has been looking into the void, but there's an expression in it.
Because he's, Romano-British.
He has seen too much.
Probably seen the Welsh.
Or the Germans.
I know, by this stage they would be the Germans.
Well, some relative. Oh, he dedicated a thank you for the XLBS. Well, isn't that
He
nice?
did. I went in and said, "You're welcome. Do more, do better, do faster."
Take a book, a page from Panzer Kaputt's book, or Blinky's, and you will bathe yourself in buttons that are golden.
Yeah, but yeah, it's not world breaking. It's not here's some crystal brush painter. It's a good solid paint job for a 28mm tabletop army, and if you want to follow it at home, you can. It's not earth shattering. It's just here's how you want to paint this. You want to do this leather. These are the steps I've done. Follow them, and you too will have this leather. And very similar, and that can be very good.
And since he's giving the correct codes for Vallejo model colors, you can use one of our links we provided the last time for finding out what color you can use from your range you have available.
We won't be linking it again this week. You've got to go back and rewatch last week's.
All those links are in the videos on YouTube, so if you want to revisit those links, they are there. I put them in the description for the videos, so they're not lost. Also, the projects get linked in the descriptions every time.
Do they?
Yes, I do.
You do an awful lot of work for this, don't you?
Well, it's rather easy. I
kind of feel bad.
It's rather easy to do this work because you were doing it prior to me. I simply do a copy and paste.
Tiny chapter.
I'm a lazy kid. Next up. Oh god, am I going to try to pronounce that?
It's
Perfect Berserkers.
You're so close. Spell it. Pathetic Berserker.
Oh god, people, I hate you. Use
spelled
spellings.
Pathetic Berserker.
Pathetic Berserker.
There you go.
Isn't it fancy?
Oh, there's one that needs to be snipped. I believe it's something that the kids do.
Don't you know? Well, actually, we had a comedy show some decades past, which was, for German comparison, rather funny, and they had there was a show within the show, and there was one character coming in, "Hallihallo, die Post ist da," translating to "Hello, this is the post." Or your mailman, for whatever translation you prefer.
I mean, at some point to show you the German in the League of Gentlemen. If you're having difficulty understanding me, then come to me in private and I will take you in my German mouth. Alles klar.
Panzer Kaputt, the video links are always under the
show me more.
The forums. No, also the forums.
All right.
When under each time after we do the show and I've finished the upload, I put the link to the VOD under the announcement in the forums. So there should be much things to find. Because I can't be asked to use it. No, well, bloody well. Where is it? If I can find it. Is it showing off? No.
Is that what you said?
Pardon?
What? Who? Squeeze me.
The dumb thing about not having a really cool YouTube name because your channel is too small is simply putting it. You can't get your own URL.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah.
Dutch beat you to it.
Well, some men are quicker than others, I guess. So,
nothing.
Pathetic Berserker does 50mm Flames of War, and he does magnets.
Anyway, he can do. He can put in magnets if he wants. This is an older project that he's come back to. So he's doing a bit of work on some kits. The delightful puke-coloured ones are Plastic Soldier Company. Grey ones to the front look like they are possibly the Battlefront 250s. But the whole kit and caboodle itself, if I link this, I'll link it now just in case. Meow, as Doug says. The project has some interesting things where he's starting off going through building, painting. There's a little bit of a battle report in there. There's a bit of as you see, some videos from YouTube channel where he's breaking down the M3 half tracks. It's a nice project covering not all the bases, but as many as you possibly can want, from just starting off and building the force to playing some games and painting the models. So you get a lot out of this project.
It's a nice vertical slice, as they say.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like taking a core for all you geologists in the audience.
He said there would be knights who say knee. I don't see any knights. I call shenanigans.
It's probably inside one of the tanks.
And I didn't even see a shrubbery. We are the knights who say knee.
The shrubbery's on the Panzer IVs.
We
if you
demand
scroll back up,
a shrubbery.
You'll see both of those Panzer IVs have got not only a shrubbery at the front, but also one at the back, giving a nice 2-level effect.
Oh,
scroll one more. There we go.
Okay,
Now it doesn't have a white fence and a path running down the middle of it, but they do have shirts on them, so you know.
And was it salmon they wanted?
Cut down the mightiest tree in the forest with a herring.
Oh yes, a herring.
No, I won't.
The translations lose a bit when they are getting translated to German, but the gist of it is still there. It's one of the few translations that went well because it keeps the humor alive, even though it's not literal.
I think they have a lot going on simply because so much of it is surreal. It's not like having to know this joke is funny because this, in context of England, is something everybody knows. Crumpets at 11, therefore the joke is funny. When you've got somebody going cut down a tree with a fish, you're going, that's just fucking weird.
The weirdest thing that ever happened to me within the realms of Monty Python is the deadly joke.
My dog has no nose. That one.
No, the World War II version where it doesn't make any sense when they speak German.
Does not.
No, it's not a word.
I know there's a bit where Hitler attempts to do his own version of it, and then he starts telling a joke, and I can hear the word, the dog and nose.
Yeah, the
and
thing
then it's
is,
just stony silence.
The thing
so
is,
I assumed it was my dog has no nose. How does it smell? Terrible.
Yeah, I think that's a different sketch, but they do a counter joke, and that is transported via radio, and there's a couple sitting in front of a radio and listening to the German deadly joke, and you understand the words because they're English. But when the English soldiers run around screaming these German words, it's literally nothing. There's not a single German word in it.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, Hansen Schlottermeier. It's totally stupid.
I just remember the writer dropping dead, and it follows up with something like, his mother, unaccustomed to the sound of laughter coming from his room, came up to see what was going on. Discovering her son dead, she read what she thought was his suicide note.
Yeah, and then
she dies as well.
And then the police squad arrives and does a depressing song on the outside to keep the dudes inside safe, and it doesn't work, and it's totally...
Oh, I don't think that's an English version.
Isn't?
No.
It's when she dies, The next installment is a Bobby in front of the house telling, I'm going to go inside now, getting the joke, and then there are 3 other Bobbies on the outside starting to sing some very sad medley.
I can't remember that at all.
Yeah,
I remember them getting it translated, and nobody had more than a couple of words.
Yeah, everybody only has one word because one translator had more than 2, and they had to put him into hospital.
He was in hospital for a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Yes, it's a maybe you don't remember because somehow the Bobbies don't look like they belong into a World War II setting, and it
may just be that they were the most annoying part, or I just went, this is get me on to the next bit. I can't honestly remember. Strange how the mind plays tricks on you after all these years.
Yeah, it's Monty Python is a thing to behold. Well, Pathetic Berserker, you has done very well.
It's 10 o'clock.
We are very pleased with your project. Please continue.
Should we call it there, or do you want to do any more?
Let's get on with it.
We should get on with it. Get on with it.
Oh, I still haven't got the Dinsdale one. Still need to get this. So we're Duck the Fuck.
We're Douglasing the Fuglasing again.
Rangers of Shadow Deep. He does the gnoll, and
dog-faced bastards.
I feel that there needed to be some hyena laughter now. Don't know why. Oh, and a vulture feasting on some unfortunate
poor
peasant.
Dead bastard. Yeah. These are just nice little touches. Obviously, Doug's been working on his solo version of Rangers for a little while, but these are just some new additions to it. I quite like the corpse markers, which he did via the medium of dance and mantic ghouls and zombies, I think. But the addition of things like the vulture on it is particularly cute.
Yeah, and the gory parts look very nice.
Any Knowles a goal, never a true word spoken, Doug. The old matey.
We're past 10 p.m. here, so we're safe with anything.
Right. Is there a time limit? I shouldn't just be initially coming onto the show and going, fuck you cunts, and throwing the V's at everybody. I did that in the Weekender, and it was edited out. Did you know? Because I didn't go back to watch it because it would just upset me. But I seen a big red block text going, edit out Jerry throwing the V's. And it was whenever I was going GW Art Friendly, the Art Local, and the Art Game Store. Like that. So I don't know what actually made it in. I assume none of that.
I think the one where you're talking not so nicely about GW had made it in. I think.
I don't know. That's right. But the fingers were pulled. It's just a shame.
I think, but referring to the 10 p.m., I think there is actually some sort of guideline law in German television that some things can't be shown prior to, I think, 9 p.m.
Yeah, we have it at 9 p.m. They call it the watershed. But I think that's more... as time has moved on, it used to be, you couldn't see a nipple before 9 p.m.
Yeah.
And then these days they've got that at like 5 o'clock with the kids' shows.
Then there are commercials mid-cartoon for some shower gels where people are rubbing themselves.
It's full on BDSM after 9 o'clock these days. Nothing else is shocking anymore.
There will be shown everything except penetration and religious views.
Yep. Oh yeah, you can't have a religious view or show an erect penis, but otherwise you're good to go from news round onwards.
So put the schlong.
Yeah. Some nice little goals.
Yes, Dr. Fuck. Nicely done. Next up is Jan's Judgment by Irish Steve.
Yeah. He cleverly uses his Jan from his Genuine Vision Twitch, but then it's Irish Steve Project Blog, so just to confuse people and baffle them. But he's been doing some stuff.
Somebody just said cunt in chat and was it censored by whoever?
Oh no, that's terrible.
Well, I'll allow it. Robert is not here.
Shut up, you cunt!
What?
Robert is not here.
Hold the fucking phone. between John Craven's news rounds off the air, what do the children do for news?
Twitter and TikTok.
For fuck's sake. Anyway.
So he's doing some larger things. I love the basing he does. 54mm
miniatures for Judgment. So he's been doing this for a while. I think he got a golden button for a pair of goblins that punch the shit out of people. I think.
The space reminds me of what is it called again? The John Bluth film. I can't remember.
Faster Pussycat Kill.
No, there's some base on the video game again.
Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
Some weird knight slaying skeletons in a tower.
Sure, yeah, why not?
Whatever.
Tower Skeletons.
It will come back to me sometime.
I'm going to just dive straight into Evil Dead 3. Let's go that way.
Oh, that's a nice.
Yeah, delightful necromancer raising up a base full of peoples. It's interesting because he's got a very early Arthas look to him with the hood and the armour going on there. I'd be keen to see how that one gets finished, simply because it's a little bit different, a little bit more armoured than you would see from a lot of necromancers who tend to be robed, wimpy fellows.
Yeah, but I like the way these two little guys get up from the base. It looks really like they are climbing out and not just have been slapped on there. But as I have been seeing him paint on stream, I know he can paint.
Oh yeah, he's very good. And he's short.
Basically,
don't worry, Tim. It doesn't matter how good at painting he is. He's always going to be shorter than us by a considerable amount.
I couldn't tell how tall is he.
It comes to about my nipples.
So that would be 160 centimeters.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, that would make me look down on him too.
I'm 194, 195-ish, I think. So, and he's nipple height.
Well, then he's surely smaller than me because I'm 183.
There you go. See.
So no small one.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter how good at painting he is.
Yes.
He can never reach the tins on the top shelf.
But being as good as a painter he is, I must admit, I hate it.
No.
Oh.
Feel free. Admit away. This is a safe space.
This is my space.
Hey, fuck you.
Yeah.
I wonder if we're going to get the same sort of extreme. I mean, the two goblins, Bale and Sarna. I don't know if that's based on the Judgment artwork, or if Steve's gone his own way with that.
If he would join us in chat, he could tell us, but
he's probably
think he's
too busy,
working.
Yeah, he's probably too busy painting for people who pay him. Yeah.
Well, he could be painting and listening.
Oh, yeah.
Other people do that too. Ben even paints, listens, and chats, which is yeah, he does.
Madness. Fucking madness.
It's every time I see him go on, I think, okay, I would like to try to do that, but I know I would either lose my track in painting and do something stupid and potentially ruin my paint job, or I would lose track of what is being talked about and make a total complete dumbass of myself.
That is true. You are shit.
Most people are shorter than me. Well, get off your high horse then.
Just need a high horse. It's naturally that big.
Next up is Ordo Xenos and the Mob Rex's Dust Dogs by Zebra Outrider. So this is 40k for a change.
This is 40k for a change. Discuss. It's a 40k army based on an Inquisitor, his retinue, and the poor bastards they forced to fight with them. So there's a mix of GW and non-GW things going in here.
Those who have been told to be voluntary.
Yeah. And also, pulling stuff from fantasy as well. So
I think he's using a
the
Legion.
Rough Riders are being dragged in from Dark Elf Cold Ones, stuff like that.
I think he's using a Star Wars Legion base here. I
Yeah,
might
well,
be wrong,
Why
but
not?
the-
It's probably the only way you can bring it up to being bigger than a GW model.
possible.
Put on a 50 mil tall fucking Legion plinth.
Yeah, I'm still wondering what their initial thought was about those. They could have gone away with a bit smaller and still use the
Widget.
all the
Yes.
things for movement. But then
Who
again,
knows? Who knows what was going through their fucking tiny mad chicken
I
minds?
think they, when designing those things, they didn't really look into other miniature games, but solely looked upon RuneQuest and Rune Wars.
Or, just spitballing here, right? The depth of the bases is so large because they can pack more coke in there when they're shipping their illicit Bolivian marching powder around the world.
Well,
If they went for a regular sized base, people would notice when it's packed with 5 keys of coke.
to be fair, the it has its advantages when I stick some little metal things in it. They fit perfectly in the Legion things. On these smaller GW bases, they stick out a bit. So magnetizing is a bit a pain in the ass. Also, these new GW bases sort of look cheap. I was really baffled to see them.
If you say so.
They're thin and flimsy.
I have a GW base, hang on.
This is the old base, the new base. The older bases are perfectly fine. For some reason, they feel like.
Look, see, I have a GW thing.
Well, I'm guessing that base.
2016, that's only 4 years ago. That's fucking up to date for me. Let me just. I can hear you rattling.
No base in it. Base
Oh,
optional.
Oh, wow, oh, right. It's in a plastic thing. What's in a plastic thing? Well, apparently I've taken the base out and fucked it somewhere else. Alright, I don't have any bases. Oh well. We'll not worry.
Well, I'm just comparing those to the original Blood Bowl things from the last version, not to say something about the even older ones.
The old standard.
And those are thicker, but, well, maybe they need to save on plastic, because sooner or later GW will have to pay taxes when delivering to other countries than England. Well, let's get back on track here. So he is doing a nice job on rust. This thing really looks rusted as hell.
It does. He wasn't kidding when he said the Muxy Ruxy Rust Dogs. Dust Dogs, thanks. Close enough. Fuck it. Lorna was complaining that I didn't do my chipping effects video before he did his chipping effects on his tank. I'm pretty sure I said in his project that I was doing that and just to hold his horses, but no. Some people just want to paint their stuff.
I'm
apparently.
also pretty sure you said that when we watched his project online.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So there's
he
that.
Was warned. He was fucking warned. Anyway, the muck dogs, the desert deck dogs, whatever they are.
There's a fuck ton of freehand on that.
You got to paint his muck. I'm not sure where you find his muck dog sign.
Didn't he show this before? I think he
He shows the image, but I don't know where it came from.
Some picture
It's
selling
just
site.
Just an image I found on the internet. It's a big fuck off dog. I wouldn't want to freehand that.
Nope.
No.
But he has done a nice job on it.
Oh yeah.
Considering
it's
that
thanks.
there is no flat surface on there.
No. No, there is no flat surface on that. It is a fucking pain in the hole to get anything looking halfway decent on that surface. I know. I've been there.
I think we all have been there sometime painting some tank-ish model from GW.
No, specifically the Lehman Russ. I'm glad to see he didn't bother wasting his time putting sponsons on it.
Well, he still could.
He could, you know. He has on some, but not on that one. I work on the principle that every 3 tanks you have, the sponsons would probably buy you a 4th tank. So just get the 4th tank. Fuck the sponsons.
See,
let's go for it.
There's his inspiration. Manda, here's your doggo, optional, mandatory for the day. Everybody say doggo. He has really gone out of his way to make a themed tank regiment.
Yeah.
Though I don't think I would have gone with CDS bases, simply because those things are big enough as they are.
It's, you know, it's a feature. It's a thing. Some people don't like bases on their tags. I don't mind them. Don't really care. I will say I like the rocket trail that he's done. He's used some form of clump foliage type affair.
I was just about to say, it looks a bit like there's some rocket growing out of the launch.
Yeah. I would have went full on clump. I think that's the sort of the thinner blended turf, so it's a bit wispy. Whereas with the clump foliage, you can actually just build up billowing smoke. And if you ever see a picture of a rocket being launched, assuming it's not that fellow who let go of the rocket launcher, the rocket stayed in, firing the fucking rocket launcher around the place, which is hilarious. But yeah, if you see a rocket being launched, there's a fairly large plume of smoke lifted with it. So full clump foliage will probably stand you in better stead.
Oh, and now he's going full mantle on terrain building.
The terrain building, which is the last bit he reaches in this, and the reason I picked this. So the stuff we haven't seen before, him working on his tanks over the past few months, smashing the terrain building. Ooh, beautiful, love it. Can't get enough of it.
So I imagine playing on that could be a bit rough.
Yeah, you know, fuck it.
Using actually play sand to model your terrain.
We used to do it as well. It's incredibly fine and doesn't require you to actually bake out the microbes out of it, because it's made so that children don't die on their arse. So we used to nip down to the early learning centre and pick up like 5 kilos of play sand for a couple of pounds, or for the same price you could get 30 grams of GW special magic sand for basing.
The special blend to snort.
30 grams, 5 kilos. Decisions.
Well, but on the other hand, you're not having any trouble storing the amount GW cells.
No, that is true.
That simply
if you
vanishes into your drawer.
Yeah, if you want to do any more than like 5 bases, you're going to have to buy fucking dozens of them.
Well, let's hit some like buttons here so that he will wake up to annoying notifications that he has earned some weird trophy again.
I mean, I think it's just sort of going to be a display board rather than a full-on play board. But it'd be really nice to see once it's done and dusted and the tanks and the miniatures on it. I'd like to see just the here is my force,
and maybe
doing donuts around this manufactorum of whatever description it is,
and maybe some sort of video going around the thing for one complete shot so that you can see it from every angle.
Yeah.
Well, then on to the next one, which is Yoshko Moldstone, finally. What does he mean with finally, Jerry?
I believe he has had it for a while and has only done digging it out to start painting it a year or two later. I don't want to say it was because I chose it as an Indie of the Week a few weeks ago and it's just like spurred him on, but I will. It's all down to me. I'm the best.
Well, if we are judging by the way he's taking
Jerry
pictures,
Shaw.
it's really your influence showing through. Great job.
Not only but fuck yeah.
Oh, look at this. He looks a bit like the...
Bayern Von Fancy Pants.
Yeah, he looks a bit like... what's it called again? Oh, God, my memory escaping me
your
totally.
name's Tim.
Baron von Minchowson.
Bayern Von Minchowson. He's quite good as well. I have the Bayern Von Minchowson Rpg somewhere over there.
There's an RPG on that online
There's
sort.
RPG. Essentially, it is it's more of a drinking game. you and your friends play nobles during that sort of Ottoman Turk period, and the idea is to tell outrageous stories. So it's just like 20 or 30 pages of single line setups where you would go to, everybody has their turn, and the person to your right would give you the setup. So the setup might be, tell me about the time you defeated the Sultan's army armed only with a hat pin, and then you would then have to explain how you did this thing. And it's just that. It's just a game of lying and bullshitting, just like Bayern Von Minchowson.
Sounds like the adult version of Story Cubes.
Yeah. Hogshead did it when they had the Warfrip license many moons ago. I actually bought it at Games Day, back when GW still let people in the door that weren't selling GW stuff. Fuck, that's not more than a few years ago now, huh? Where are we? I have to find Baron Von Fancy Pants' song because it's fucking hilarious. Oh, you son of a bitch. I know his name is Fancy Hat, but there's a reason he exists. And we know Josh is quite good. Baron Von Fancy Hat. So, there is the fellow in question.
Oh, and that one on the right is his car stereo?
Eric the Squire. But everybody has a bit of fluff to go with them because Moonstone is a fluff-based little narrative game, and it might be a diary entry or a bit of text about the particular villain or creature, or it might be a bit of a story. Baron Von Fancy Hat has a ballad that's told far and wide, which is, "Dear stranger, will you lend your ear to the story of woe, scrawled on a tear-stained parchment in the moonstone's gentle glow? I was promised in callow youth the Baron's daughter hand, who bore a massive dowry and splendid tracts of land. Her father bade I would wed her, forthwith, that was that. I gave her a wedding ring, she gave me a fancy hat. One summer day we took a walk down below the wold, but goblin bandits ambushed us, thirsting for my gold. With skin of green and teeth of black, decay upon the breath, the red eyes demanded plunder, the blades cried out for death. I stood my ground and vowed to fight, protect my love, so I drew my rapier and spilt some goblin blood. The weight of numbers proved too great, they forced me to the ground. They took my hat and rapier, I was tied and bound. Those evil goblins forced me to listen to her cries as they secured her to a tree before my very eyes. Their wicked leader spared me, to taunt me and to gloat, as his cohorts used their daggers to cut her tender throat. Thus they laughed and left me bleeding, thinking that was that, but they were quite mistaken, for they still had my hat. The thought of that stolen apparel left me quite bereft. I swore to find my hat again, and to avenge its theft. And so now I roam my barony, from Tor to Rundhenge, and as I hunt that goblin scum, in desire for revenge."
So no word on his fiancée being killed, but
no,
only his hat.
Fucking, it's the hat. Oh, fuck her. And her huge tracts of land. But look at that hat. That hat's amazing.
Oh,
You can see why I'd go after that.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it can't be the one he's going after because he already has it on his head. So that should be a even more glorious head he's hunting.
See, you're forging the narrative, as they say in France. Well, no, you have to say it in France. Try to avoid France. It's a terrible place full of French.
Well, let's venture on to Victorian Empire Strikes Back.
Sure, why
Hello,
not?
Denzian. Long time no see. How is your Zulu game going?
Zulu game, you say? Oh, Tim, you're spoiling me by including a Zulu game in this. I love you.
I know.
He's added a few character minis from Redoubt, which is really weird because Empress have movie miniatures, but then they don't have all of them, and then Redoubt have things like who's the sergeant with the big muscles there with the melee bag on his back and stuff like that, and you're going, oh, this is just great. So it pays to shop around.
Yeah, maybe it's the same thing with the Dad's Army thing last time we had, where one company has the rights and the other one does the looks.
Oh no, neither of them have rights for this one. They just
Well, then
They're just both inspired by, so you don't need to worry about that.
maybe they have taken a list of this is all a list of all characters in the movie. These are already done by any other company. Let's do the rest.
Maybe that's it. Maybe they realised Empress had beaten them to the punch, and therefore there was no point in doing another version of, Stanley or Michael. So they went for some of the others.
And let's face it, it's historical. So they will fit in more settings, and
Oh yeah, very much. I mean, they are just British colonial troops, so you're fine up until the Sudan War when they changed from the scarlet into khaki.
And I'll go out on a limb here saying there will be more than one Jerry and Big Bang wanting all those minis for Zulu and display and whatever.
I have most of them. I didn't realise Redoubt did the sandbag carrier and stuff like that, so I'll be picking those up. They also do things like the bunk beds for the hospital based on the movie version, which is very nice. So
I find amusing,
there will be a little purchase coming.
What I find amusing is Denzian remembered to paint the stripes.
He did. Well done him. I don't know.
Well done, Denzian.
I don't know why he decided that was necessary. It's not like anybody would take him to task over it.
Well, there could be stripes here. Maybe.
I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, how I did the stripes, Denzian.
With a marker pen?
No, I've got a set of pencils. They're like gouache pencils. So they're drawing pencils, but they're also watercolors, so you can then take a brush with water and then add it in. So I just took that and then just drew the stripes on, and then just water and went with a flat brush afterwards, and then just went whoop over the top of each flag. And it was so fucking quick. Oh, it was so easy. I was barely painting at all, really. I'd hate to have to do them by hand, one at a time. I'd fucking cry if I had to do that.
And before anything is calling Jerry a cheater, that is not cheating, that is working efficiently.
Stripes and buttons. I would say Denzian's got a button for this.
I think so,
possibly two, actually. I think we managed to. I mean, they're like 2 years apart, with a bit of work in between, but I'm fairly certain he's got two for it.
I think
you've not got one for this. That's appalling.
We need to implement some rule that if a project reaches more than 1,000 recommendations, it's all automatically disqualified for any golden button because it's too powerful.
Oh, well, that's fucking harsh.
Yes, it is.
Oh, you terrible bastard.
That's why I'm here for.
Oh, you got it for the other Zulu project, the one around Desandwana, where you were and then taking the photos when you were just sunning it.
Doing all the research.
Ah, yeah, research, yeah, sure, that too.
Well, then let's move on for the last project of today, because then we have our half hour full.
That will be our half hour complete.
Dinsdale. Crazy Red Coats competition again. I've seen that. He was wasn't so long ago when he was still not sure what color to paint this whip in. Surely that's not the color I would have chosen, but it fits.
I like to imagine he sat down and watched Whip It by Devo a few times to get inspiration, and took the inspiration from the red stepped plant pot hats for the leatherwork on them, and then went, how else can I just tie this in?
Well, he could tell us. He was in the chat just a minute ago.
He could, but you know.
But on the other side, maybe he doesn't want us to know.
He's saying he just needed more purple.
Well, then keep your secrets.
Dutch nose. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh no, he's making advertisement for Duncan's Dingsbums. Here, what's it called? Painting Academy.
Oh, if you say so.
Yeah,
I don't click on anything.
Hey everybody, in this video
no,
we're going to...
No audio. We won't have you talking here, Mr. Two Thin Coats.
Are you diehard? Like diehard miniatures? Is that what he said? No.
Or like the Christmas movie.
Ho ho ho, now I have a machine gun. Doug, night shift. I feel your pain. On the plus side, they tell me you get better Wi-Fi signal at night, so in that respect, having to work at night, less bad.
Oh, look, this wholesome picture here is added. Happy accidents.
Good old Bob Ross.
I'd say you could paint a miniature with that brush.
Would, but it'd be an oil, you have to wait the age for it to fucking thing. Not Lloyd. Warren was banging on at me to do oil washes for fucking ages. And we'd be talking occasionally, before filming the weekend, it was like, blah, 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 I'm doing this. It's like, have you done that video on oil washes yet? And I did the video on oil washes, and it was going, is it up? Well, it's up. Well, how do you do it? You do this, you do that, then you fuck off for 2 hours, and then you come back and clean it up. It's like, I'm not doing that. Well, I want everything painted now. So you're not going to throw the oil wash on and then just leave it? No. It's like, well,
Oil washes are something for the patient type.
But this is what he was complaining about. It's not fast. I'm too impatient. But it is fast, and you can do it and literally walk away. You could do it, go and make dinner, cook your dinner, eat your dinner, come back, do the tidy up. That's how fucking simple oil washes are. But if you can't throw it on, it's not dry in 5 minutes, it's not worth it.
Well, he's putting on a completely different meaning on the subject of speed painting. Wow, these are nicely done miniatures.
He is. He's not bad.
Especially this little tribute.
Yeah, I like to. Every time I see that coming up, I just think that's just a prime example of British politics. So woefully underfunded as NHS that somebody who's over 100 has to walk around his fucking garden to raise money during a pandemic.
And fucking blows every goal he has set.
I got the Empress miniatures. I think it's somebody's mother or grandmother was a medic. She's fucking so small. Here's Rommel. Right. Can you see the size?
That's tiny.
There? She's tiny. Although I do still like her. She's going to be my second medic for my second Africa Corps, for my second Desert Rats platoon, because I have a British medic already who's carrying a stretcher. And then I needed another one. I didn't want a second one of him with a stretcher, so I'm going to have this other. But when you've got her beside him, it's not as bad. So Rommel apparently was quite big. She's relatively scaled from Empress.
Does the oil wash in the crevices dry matte eventually?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think so. I'd hope so. Otherwise, it would be bad.
No, oil or enamel washes. Enamel would have a slight satin sheen to them. Oil will dry matte. If you want to speed it up, use liquid and go nuts. And then I generally hit everything with a varnish anyway.
I think.
Oh, that hair's on your photograph there. Crazy. I thought that was on my screen, just under the Rackart flesh base. But no, there's a pube in your photograph, mate.
Well, if I ever am going to touch things like oil washes, it probably will be on something like a bus or something. I don't think I will care enough for my miniatures to have them made up of such a high quality.
The next oil wash I'm doing is going to be on that Coruscant dragon, because all the scales are ochre ivory type of colour, and then the green patterning on them. But if you ever look at a crocodile, they have a very distinct black underbelly under their scales, so every scale is outlined. So the whole thing's getting airbrushed up, and then the entire fucker is going to get a black wash and then cleaned up, all shiny and bright.
Well, we'll be looking forward to the XLBS where that will be shown, hopefully someday.
Blame the cat for one of your pubes in a picture. Your cat building a nest. It's just there. I can't not look at it. I could scroll away from that picture, but I just can't.
What picture are you talking about?
If you go down to Jungle Fashion, you can make a killing from it. It doesn't matter which one you go to, and they're the pubes in the mall.
Jungle Fashion. Oh, this on the right, you mean?
Yeah, you can't miss it. There it is. There's the pub.
Yeah, that's definitely not. No, that's not a cat hair. I could tell a cat hair. That's no cat hair. A cat hair would be on the miniature to fuck your paint job, to annoy the hell out of you.
Man's got a point.
So yeah. This being the end of today, as I will proclaim now.
Yep. Another sweet, tight, finely crafted and scripted half hour.
Yes.
Of hobby fun.
And anybody else telling you otherwise is a liar and has no grip of the concept of time, because time is relative, as we all know. Jerry, thank you for providing the list as usual. Thank you for the complete insane people in the audience sticking with us. And I say thank you for being here. We will read each other in the Discord, probably, maybe eventually. Maybe tomorrow, listening to what's his name? Warren's radio show?
Yeah, that's the one. Who's that fella who runs this thing?
The big guy that did the thing with the other guy and his brother.
Walks with a limp. Bad breath.
Oh, I couldn't tell that.
That was Quantum Leap. The initial few episodes of Quantum Leap, when Sam hasn't got any clue of what his own history and mind's like. Every time they bring up Ziggy, he keeps going, walks with a limp, bad breath, Ziggy. Ziggy's a computer.
That's a show I haven't watched in ages.
Oh boy.
But it was fun.
I like to imagine that all of Star Trek, with him as Captain Archer, was just an extended episode of Quantum Leap. It's so much more fun then.
Actually,
imagine how he's trying to fucking leap home.
Could be. So, night everybody. We are going to cut stream short tonight.
Yes.
We will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.